Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we certainly are. And it's very good to be here. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad you could all make it too. And I'm going to share this out so we can get some eyes on. How does that sound? Oh boy, lots of stuff happened today, huh? What do you think? Wow, we are live. That's usually the message I give when we're live. Okay, all righty. Post that. I hope you're all having a grand old time. A grand time. Artist61, hello, I got your email. Thank you so much. You got the book, and I hope that you get better very, very soon. Operation Shutdown. Don't be cruel, Aaron. Yeah, I still my sideburns are still colored in, and the black is still in my hair from my gig today. I had a short little gig today, so had a little birthday party over at the Stone Harbor, right by one of the drawbridges over here in Sturgeon Bay. Hello, Green Dragon 64. I'm having a good Friday so far because right now I'm with my friends, so it's great. And I'm also going to go and put it on my Facebook, Truth Quest Facebook page. I posted it. So if you can help me to share this out to your favorite social media platform, that would be great. So, okay, there it is. Yeah, we just share this out to my page. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see very well, folks. But I'm going to try. You know, if you wear glasses all the time, your eyes get too used to it and they don't get better, right? So sometimes I go without my glasses because I don't want to be, I want my eyes to work on their own if they can, you know, because that's just the natural way. I like natural rocks. All right, there we are. We got that taken care of. All right. Operation Shutdown. Yeah. Good to see you all here. Well, we got a lot of things to talk about today. I had that little gig and I still have. Now, I used to, back in the old days, I would dye my hair blue-black if I was going to do a gig, like a big gig somewhere. But over the years, it's like, you know, that's really hard on your hair. And so now I spray it with the Halloween coloring. And I dab my sideburns with the Q-tip and the black hairspray coloring. And it comes off in the shower. So I didn't want to take another shower before the show. So here I am in my black hair and black sideburns. There you go. But it works really good. I like that. I got a call. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I got a call from Alfred Lambermont Weber, and he will be coming on the show. I just got his. He sent me some PDFs of his books. He's got 2 books that are coming out soon, and as soon as I read them, although one of them is 150 pages, the other was 600 or 800 pages. That's going to take a while, especially with my eyes. Oh, whatever you're doing with your hair, keep doing it. It looks great. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually the thinning forest, and it's pretty gray too. It's getting gray. I got my first gray hair, I think, when I was 17. So it's been going gray, but that's okay. Gray's fine. Gray is fine. I don't mind it, but I got jet black sideburns now. Yeah. All right. So, we got something for you here, friends. We got something for you. All right. I was just watching Zoso for a little bit. And I caught a little bit of Red Pill and Craig Mason. I actually called in on Craig Mason's show with Brad Colagero Gets, the freaking Friday night show. So if you haven't checked Craig Mason out, go check him out. He just got, I think he just got purged off of YouTube, I believe. So check him out on Rumble and Twitch. I saw him on Twitch today. So there you go. All right. So yeah, we had a good time at the birthday party. I sang 2 songs. And happy birthday and Dopey Cruel. So there you go. And boy, was she surprised. She was very surprised. She hadn't seen me in years. And I did a birthday party for her many, many years ago as well. So she was really shocked. And she told me that I looked just as young as I did back then. And so that's very nice. Okay. The first meme we got, friends, is a good one. I really like this one. The hospitals are overwhelmed. They fired half their staff. Yeah, that's why they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed because they purposefully squeezed out half of their staff by having these ridiculous mandate for a experimental RNA gene therapy that won't even protect you from what really is just the common cold. There you go. That's what I have to say about that. But I love these. You do a meme with these characters and you can't go wrong. I did not make this one, but I'm just saying, if you're making memes, you can't go wrong with this one. You get the wording right, boom, you got a gold nugget there. A very good meme. Hello, Mud Rabbit. Oh, and Mud Rabbit, I think I emailed you, and your book will come in. You're getting your book on the 12th. You should get it on the 12th, so keep an eye out for that. And Artist61 just emailed me about the book and that she got. And she was really said a lot of very nice things. So thank you so much, Artist61. Very, very kind words that you printed there. So thank you so much. Yeah, I worked real hard on those books. I tried to make them happy. You know, I tried to, you know, I think if a kid's looking at something, it should be something good to look at. And so I, you know, and what happened was I got done with both books and we were going to go bring them to the publisher or the printer the next day or in a couple days. And I'm all done. And I was looking at them. I thought, you know what? I don't like this page. I don't like that page. So I redid a couple of things on the pages. I'm really glad I did, because I didn't want to look at the book years later and go, oh, I should have redid that. You know, so I did that. So that's actually what I'm doing with the Awesome Possum now too. I'm totally redoing the whole thing. So I redesigned the character and there you go. That's a good one. That's a darn good meme. As far as memes go. And they go pretty far, believe you me. Okay. Here's a good one. And of course, this one is our meme king, Dicaprio, right? What do the vaxxed and the unvaxxed have in common? They both will never be fully vaxxed. I don't want to say the word. Yeah, isn't it so true? There's always a booster around the corner that you have to get. It's something else, boy, I tell you. Isn't that just something else? Um, yeah. Oh, and you know what else, friends? I have to, let me see. I better put my glasses on for this so I can see, so I can read this. I checked my PayPal the other day, and now I don't normally check my PayPal because I had been checking it every day, and you know, when there's nothing there, why check it? So, but lo and behold, the other day I checked it, and I got a donation from Paul T. So thank you so much, Paul. That was a very generous donation, and it really helps. I can't stress that enough. I mean, you know, yeah. So that's it. Austin Morris, there he is. Greetings from Knoxville. There he is, Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, I thought that was a good meme. You can't go wrong with a Dicaprio meme, right? Might take these off for a while. I like wearing no glasses sometimes, you know. All righty then. Here's something ironic, friends. I mean, the irony is everywhere, right? And we all know what the definition of irony is, don't we? What the opposite of irony is? Wrinkly, right? But here is something that is actually ironic. The Holocaust Museum demanding your papers for entrance is the perfect way to explain to someone the definition of irony. Yes. Isn't that interesting? Illinois Holocaust Museum. To ensure Illinois Holocaust Museum is as safe as possible for visitors, volunteers, and staff, the museum is requiring all guests ages 5 up to show proof of full blah, 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 we don't want to say it, to enter the building as of January 5th, 2022. Has history taught us nothing, folks? They want to see your papers before you go in to see the Holocaust Museum. Think about that. And then think about what happened after World War II, right? All the Nazi scientists just turned into NASA people overnight. Amazing, huh? Yeah. So I wonder if that's part of this whole thing, right? Makes you go, right? Things that make you go, like Arsenio Hall used to do. Remember that? He had a pretty good show. I don't know why he quit it, but maybe he didn't have ratings. I don't know. There you go. You want to teach someone about irony? Tell them this story. You're bound to repeat history if you don't learn it, friends. We're bound to repeat it if we don't learn it. And these kids these days, they know nothing. They weren't taught anything in school. I mean, I wasn't taught civics. I wish I was. Luckily, you know, just to be a good person, do your civic duty. I mean, this is like ingrained in my fabric, the way I was brought up. I mean, but I guess that just doesn't work doesn't happen anymore. Very strange. A very strange world we've come to. And it all comes, when you're talking about a chain, supply chain, any kind of chain, the weak link. What's the weak link? Well, I think we know what the weak link is here, don't we? Biden. Supply chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Yeah, that's, this picture of a chain with a link with Biden on it breaking is like a pretty good example of his presidency. Weak link. Yeah. He's on TV telling you that if you get the jab, you're not going to get COVID. Well, everyone knows that the hospitals are filled with people now, or the cases, mostly the ones who got it, because their bodies are producing spike proteins. Hello. How could you not catch it? Hey, I know how we can expand this pandemic. We'll give them something that makes it that makes the spike proteins in their bodies, and then they'll catch it, and then we'll have a real pandemic. How do you like that? Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. But waking up the normies, one at a time here, one meme at a time. So share these memes with your friends, because you might just wake up a normie. You took civics, Mud Rabbit? Yeah, I don't think it was even offered in my high school. I don't know. I certainly didn't take it if it was. You know what class I wish I would have taken? Typing. But hardly any guys took typing, because back then, before confusers came out, we really didn't know this was coming. So I just didn't take typing. I wish I would have. I'd probably be a little quicker on the keyboard. Copy the Constitution. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Mud Rabbit. Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. Yeah, that's the thing. The Constitution's 4 pages. Now, I remember in school, they taught us what, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, like the first sentence or two, it's all that they talked about. It's only 4 pages long. Why didn't we go over it? I don't know. Celestial Soul, hello there. You look so Elvis-like. Well, thank you, Celestial Soul. I had an Elvis gig tonight. And that's why my sideburns are darker than they usually are. And my hair is darker. And yeah, I decided to try one without my glasses, because I don't want to be too, I don't want to use my glasses all the time, because my eyes won't get stronger and improve. I want to improve my eyes by not wearing my glasses as often. Here's one from a while ago, but it came up in my memories on Facebook, and I think from like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I can't remember when it was, but I went into my memories, and most of them were content unavailable, content unavailable, content unavailable. No kidding. Everything's been censored. We're living in China, friends. We're looking at the Chinification of America. And here is that little meme that I thought was so funny but tragic at the same time. The real danger is cats. There you go. Those curious little cats, they're going to bop that thing and see what happens and start the nuclear launch. Funny, but not funny, right? Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. Man, that would not be good. Oh, Austin Morris, I read a lot of U.S. history now. Youth is wasted on the young. Yes, it is. But we had our chance to be young. And now it's their chance to be young. And I guess we should have taught them better. Maybe more of us should have went into teaching. I taught daycare for a while. And that was, you know what? That was a very, helping kids to learn things is a really awesome thing. But I really felt sorry for the parents not seeing their kid tie their shoe for their first time, or, you know, making these milestones. So in a sense, the lockdowns were good in that it got a lot of parents into homeschooling because they saw the horrible things the schools were teaching because they were home to see it. It ain't shiny yet, Aaron. Yes, yes, thank goodness. In parts of America, like, in New York City, they have, you can't go in a restaurant unless you show your papers. It's pathetic. It's not American. It's not American. It shouldn't happen. We need to get some patriots in there in all public offices and straighten this mess out, because yes, it's not shiny yet and we don't want it to be. I remember the fake inauguration, all the fences and barbed wire, and there was a Chinese guy like right behind Biden. It's like, oh, he comes with his own handler. Huh. Probably a ventriloquist. There's probably yeah. We all know, don't we? We know the score. We know what's happening. All right. Here you go, friends. Here's a good one. Oh, yeah. Guess who I saw today? Everybody I looked at. Yes. Oh, I'm going to use this one. Guess who I saw today? They'll guess everyone I saw. Everyone I looked at. Funny, too funny. That's just a quick little funny one for you to get you chuckling. Hopefully you're chuckling. Because if you're chuckling, you're living, right? Oh, that's great, Mud Rabbit. Teach your little ones to memorize the preamble and the Bill of Rights, 10 of them. I taught my older grandchildren. We'll work on the younger one. Excellent. That's what we need to do. Yes. Yeah, launch control here. Meow. Yeah. No, the cat. It wasn't us. It was just the cat. Yeah. Cats. Boy. Animals. Animals are great, except you have to create a whole environment for them. It's like, it's not easy. Not easy. Yeah. So there you go. I thought that was a good one. Don't you think? You want to know what makes me smile? You want to know what makes me smile? You want to know what makes me smile? Face muscles. Yes. Yes. Oh, don't you love it? Yeah, I love it. Your cat is pushy? Okay. Yeah, well, I think a lot of cats are kind of pushy. They push things off shelves and things, right? They think everything is for them to walk on. So there you go. Yeah. What do you think of that Supreme Court? Oh my goodness. There's no IQ test they give people for that job. I mean, some of the statements are just like that. Uh, Sotomayor, whatever her name was. Oh my goodness. And she wasn't a judge, and she knows nothing about the Constitution by the questions she was asking. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think that if you should be able to, continued competency training, cracking the eggshell of conditioning is the website, I think. But yeah, the Supreme Court members should be quizzed on their knowledge of the Constitution. I think that's a very important thing. If they can't pass the test, they're out. Don't you think? Hello, Brenton. Good to see you here. What's been happening in here? We're looking at some funny memes right now. We're looking at some funny memes. Who knows what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do right now, friends, is I'm going to put the meeting information, the Zoom information into the chat Aruni so that we can get someone to call in if they want to. There you go. There it is. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty darn good meme. Funny one. I like funny memes. Here's a good one. We're doing a meme-a-thon here, friends. Okay, the real architect of J6. There she is. Yeah, I'd say that's it. She's the one that did not. Several people called for the National Guard to be there, to be present, to help the Capitol Police, but nope, she wouldn't have it. She had other plans. Other plans. Now, the FBI knew about 13 different counter protests or counter, not protests, but, maybe protests. And they didn't do anything. They didn't reinforce the police presence, of course, because they wanted this to happen so that they could use it and twist it. 3 or 4 people died that day, and they were all women patriots. Okay, the cops that died days after, not from injuries they got from that day. Okay, and some of the women were beaten to death by the cops. It's so ironic that throughout 2020, it's defund the cops. Cops are bad. Cops are bad. Now it's like, oh, the poor Capitol Police. It's like, wait a minute. Hold on here. They just, you know what? They have no morals. They have no standards. Well, I guess they do. They have double standards. They're just bad people. And they got to be cheating, because someone as bad as that can't keep winning elections. There's no way. Look at our district. People are pooping in the streets. Who would vote to continue that? And wow, year after year, man, I tell you. Love that she has a hairy chest. I didn't notice that. You're right. Oh my God. Oh, I can't unsee that. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Isn't that something? That is something. I'm telling you. It definitely is something. Definitely is something. Oh. Oh, yeah. Well, I think I found our next one, friends. It's going to be a good one. You're going to love this one. Oh, Nancy. Oh, crazy Nancy. Nervous Nancy. Why is she nervous? Because we're on to ya. We are on to ya. So there you go. So here's a good one. Willie Brown. I could have told y'all Kamala would do a sucky job. Oh, yeah. So we got Supreme Court justices that were appointed because who knows why? Not because of knowledge of the Constitution, that's for sure. And we got, this guy appointing Kamala, giving her legitimacy because she was his side squeeze. He was having an affair with her. So then man, how proud could you be, no matter what you did, if that's how you started? Come on now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And here's the thing. If there was let's say a female vice president Republican who had a similar start off in their career, like Willie Brown and Kamala, you'd never hear the end of it, ever. You'd never hear the end of it. Never. It's like you got that D by your name. That means that nobody can touch you. You're protected no matter what laws you break, no matter your morality. But that's changing, friends. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background that is pretty good stuff. Hey guys, if anyone's keen to get some real insight into the happenings of Australia, Melbourne, check it out. Okay. Yeah. We'd like to hear that. That'd be cool. I feel really sorry for everyone down there, down under. They're really being put through the squeeze. Same with people in Europe, different countries in Europe. Hey, there's Carl to go. Welcome, Carl. Yeah, there's Willie Brown. Happy guy, huh? Look at that guy. Yeah, he's pretty proud of himself. He put into motion Kamala Harris's career. How do you like that? Wow. Just disgusting, isn't it? It's just disgusting. These people, man, unbelievable. And the other thing about our media is so bad. The information given is so bad. And after watching the Supreme Court, a little bit of the Supreme Court today, they must be getting their news from the mainstream because they're not understanding anything. They don't quite get it. Hello, Andy Social. Good to see you here. That's a great name, Andy Social. I love it. Andy Social. Yeah. Good old Willie Brown. Look at that guy. He's something else, isn't he? All right. There we go. There we go. Off into the wild blue yonder. You know, friends, I came across something the other day, um, and it came out a couple years ago, and they say it's a glitch in the Matrix. Don't you love that? A glitch in the Matrix. This bird stopped, looks as if it stopped mid-flight, and people are watching it. And it's a little video. And I took these still frames because I was curious, because something wasn't right here. And here is one of the close-ups of the bird. It's just in this position in the middle of the sky. All right. But to the right of it was like a radio antenna going way up. So I think there's some fishing line or something connecting, because on some of the frames, you could see something glistening here, like it's caught in his wing. So, and it was swaying back and forth a little bit in the wind. So it didn't just freeze. It was stuck that way because there's a string on it. So, you know, when we look at these things that are supposed to be, you know, some kind of anomaly, a lot of times sometimes they end up not being that anomaly. And really it's just something easily explainable. Other times it's something real. So you can't just look discerningly at these things, because and you know what, I'm going to try and find that video so you can see it for yourself. It'll be a little choppy, but you know, I don't know if you've all seen it or not, but all right, that should find it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Wait a minute. Is that it? Oh, yeah. Oh, I can see other people have done some analysis on it. So let's watch one of these. Let's see if they saw the same thing I saw. Okay, I got to detach this and shrink it. Okay, is this going to be it? There we go. All right, almost there, folks. All right. Yep. I'm not going to show it until the ad's done playing, all right? Whoop. And yeah. Ad will end in 3 seconds. It said that for a while now. I guess it's not going to end. Hmm. Hmm. Ah, here we go. There we are. Uh-oh. This thing has a little ad. I don't think I can get rid of it. There it is. Oh, another ad. Hmm. Okay. Here we go. We're almost there, folks. Almost there. Now, I haven't seen this particular video, but let's check it out. It's that same bird. Wait a minute. Is that it right here? Yeah, here it is. I think this is it. Okay. All right, here we are. Now let's see. Let's listen to what they
Did
say.
some research, and I uncovered other cases. And I knew I just had to cover this because it's just so bizarre.
All right, you see there's a radio tower here, okay? And there's a bird seemingly stuck in the midair. All right, here's the original video. Okay, they're showing people on the ground and they're watching this thing. But now
this footage from Colombia was first shared on Twitter earlier this month, and it shows what appears to be a white bird just frozen in mid-flight. And you can see people just staring in total amazement.
Yeah.
Some thought that maybe this bird was caught in wires, which is a great theory. But another eyewitness wrote on Twitter, there's a static pigeon in the air next to a 5G antenna, and there are apparently no wires nearby. Mr. Waring from the ET database said,
okay, that's enough of that. But that's the video. And well, let's see.
Here's something you don't see every day. A white pigeon frozen in midair near a 5G tower.
It's not a pigeon.
It's like a time bubble was made by the 5G antenna, and this poor pigeon was unlucky enough.
No, this guy's, see, that's, I should have screened this. That's a bunch of nonsense. Now I saw a line coming up. So now a radio antenna, if, you know, as you know, a radio antenna has cables connecting it. Okay, there's cables like going down at angles. All right, and if he's got some fishing line caught on him from in the water, he's hanging from that. That's my assumption, but I don't think it's a real. I don't think it's a real glitch in the matrix. Okay, it's not. It's not a glitch in the matrix. No, because it sways a little bit too in the wind. If it was truly frozen, it would be frozen. Yeah. Boy. I don't know, man. You got to be careful. Don't you think? You just got to be careful. No, it's not a hologram. It's a real bird. It's really alive, but it's caught on some. It's caught. You can Photoshop the cables out. Yeah, you could. That's true. You could. But I saw like it looks like a string, like probably a fishing line. You could barely see it. It's moving with the wind though. So it's moving a little bit. So it's swaying a little bit. And it isn't in mid-flight because no bird flies like that with one wing out and one wing not out. It's not the way that a bird flies. Okay. So there you go. Okay, let's check our call in to see if anyone's called in. Nobody yet. All right. All righty then. All right, now share screen. Now, friends, we got a picture from the ISS. And here you go. So there it is. Here's a picture from the ISS from today. It's actually marked as the 8th because it goes around the Earth. You know, it's probably on an area of the Earth where it's already the 8th. And if it is, happy birthday, Elvis Presley. It's Elvis Presley's birthday. He was born in 1935. So today is, the 8th is his birthday. So happy birthday. So we're going to do our little thing and see if we can find something in this. Ooh, look how bright the Earth gets. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see a little bit better. You know, there's a little something there, but I think that might just be, I don't know what that is. I've seen this in a couple other ones too. It's a little a lit up area right there. That's strange, but I don't see any anomalies here at all. And you know, Starlink is supposed to have like, what, 1,000 or so or more of those things up right now. I don't see any up here. They're at a different height though. I think they go up higher. They might go up higher than the International Space Station. That could very well be. I think I read that. Oh, we got a call from our friend Maxwell Smart. Max, hello.
Yes, indeed.
Hello there. How are you doing today?
Good. And you guys?
Doing great. Doing great.
I assume you're online.
Yep, we're online. We definitely are, and you're on the air. So,
Okay.
So what's new?
Oh, just working on projects.
Yeah.
And,
How's that
if
coming?
you hear a ding in the background, it's because I'm fixing myself a snack.
Oh, okay. All right.
A chicken patty.
Oh, okay.
I've gotten addicted to this. I bought a little air fryer. I was hesitant to buy a full-fledged air fryer because I didn't know exactly, how good it is. So I didn't want to commit to.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at the dollar store picking up some candy, and they had this little air fryer for $35. I said, I'm going to try that, and hope that it was decent performing. Well, it's fantastic.
Wow.
And I'd really encourage people. It's so fast. It's easy to clean. And
okay.
So I've learned how to cook all kinds of things in there. It's so much fun.
Wow.
Cook a slice of pizza in 10 minutes or.
Wow. That's interesting. You know what? Peggy Dancer says hello, Maxwell. Mud Rabbit says hello, Hey, Max.
Hi to all.
Hello, Rosetta Stone.
Love you all.
Peggy Dancer.
Huh?
Cajun Jules. Austin Morris is in the house. Nothing in the vacuum of space to scatter light. Okay. That's why it doesn't light up. Yeah.
Huh.
We're looking at a picture of from the ISS. This one has nothing remarkable in it.
So what have you been talking about this evening?
Well, we went on a meme rant for a while there. And today I'm on camera mostly without my glasses on. I had my little Elvis gig today, so I still have my sideburns colored in and my hair is black. So, and it's almost Elvis's birthday. So there you go.
Wow. Weren't you thoroughly disgusted with yesterday?
Oh, you mean, I don't watch the media, so I just assume they.
Oh, it was awful.
It's all they got. It's nothing. It's an empty box.
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing in it.
My mom called, said she was about to get sick when she saw Biden on the television.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
He was just giving 3 reasons why it's a big lie and all this stuff. And of course, the media was obviously not in the least bit impartial, right?
Right. One-sided.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, but
I guess Trump, I guess, put out a couple messages.
Yes, he did. He did. Very good ones too. Very good ones.
I didn't see both of them, but I heard a little bit of it. So
okay. Maybe I'll read one. I'll have to put my glasses on for that. We're looking at another picture from the ISS. I'm going to just check and see if there's anything here. I just took some random screenshots to do this live on air to see if we can find anything.
Mm-hmm.
Lurking in the darkness. No, I don't see anything in that one either. Nope. See, this is how it is, folks. It's tough to find something. It takes a lot of time, actually. And most of the time, you don't find anything. Most of the time, you don't. So there you go. Yeah, we got one more to check here. Let's try it. Is that the one? Hold on a second here. Yeah, that's the one I just did. This one. This is a different one. I don't think there's going to be anything on this one either. It's a similar shot. It's a little bit different. So let's see. Let's see here. Oh, I have a comment about your candy at the dollar store.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I don't buy candy at the dollar store. I really don't buy candy much at all, really anymore, because I think a lot of that candy in the dollar store might be made in China, and they're known for, not using the best ingredients. So I don't know.
Then I bought as a Dove bar chocolate,
Okay.
dark chocolate.
All right.
I don't eat anything but dark chocolate.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But
You might be safe with that. You might be safe, but I don't eat. It's the Halloween candy too is very suspect to me.
Yeah, in general, I don't eat candy.
Yeah.
But dark chocolate is a fantastic blood thinner as long as you don't eat too much of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
So a little bit a day is good for you. Of course, it's a good source of magnesium too. So,
mm-hmm.
And most of Americans 80% of Americans are deficient in magnesium.
Are we? I probably am.
Yeah.
I probably am. I eat Brazil nuts, and those have zinc and all kinds of selenium, but you can't eat too much selenium. So only a couple.
Yeah, you can. One of the things that selenium does, you get too much of it, you start to lose your hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No more Brazil nuts for me, buddy. No, but you know what's weird? You know what's weird is I'll be sitting here at home and I won't have hardly anything to eat, but I'll have Brazil nuts, and I can't eat more than a couple of them. I just can't. Isn't that weird? But they do have zinc in them.
Your body's trying to tell you something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's what's happening there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good though.
Yeah.
Very good.
Maybe I should go and read that thing from Trump. Should I?
Sure, I'd be interested.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure a lot of the people in the audience haven't heard it.
I gotta put my glasses on for this. And I'll have to get close to the screen, so I apologize, everybody. But my eyes aren't the greatest, so I'm doing what I can.
Speaking of eyes, have you heard from Andrew lately?
Yeah, I did. Just the other day, he called and he was giving me some advice on what kind of foods to eat to stay healthy. So,
okay.
I guess walnuts are really good for brain cognition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
water with lemon if you go out to eat, or even if you don't go out to eat.
Yeah.
Put some lemon in your water.
Sure.
It's one of the best ways to keep your blood in a more alkaline condition.
Uh-huh.
which of course there's been studies to show that when your blood gets too acidic,
right,
you're more prone to cancer.
right.
So just simply doing that all the time
Mm-hmm.
can dramatically affect your health.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's all kinds of little things you can do that.
Oh, here's an important.
Onions and garlic
Yeah.
are one of the best things if you eat them regularly to cleanse your body of viruses.
Oh, wow.
There's like more than 40 compounds in garlic alone that are potent against viruses
And vampires.
and vampires. Yeah, and if you eat too much of it, people too.
Yeah. Here's something from the CDC, a message from the CDC. Listen to this. CDC says, go ahead and release the names of all the pedophiles who paid Ghislaine Maxwell for her services. There you go. CDC says it, so we better do it.
Wow. That sounds very strange coming from them.
Yeah, it's a fake. It's a fake. It's a meme. It's just a meme.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, here it is. Let's see if I can get this big enough to see it. Okay, statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. This is a Save America President Donald J. Trump. To watch Biden speaking is very hurtful to many people. They're the ones who tried to stop the peaceful transfer with a rigged election. Just look at the numbers. Does anybody really think that Biden beat Obama with the black population in select swing states, but nowhere else? That he would lose 18 of the 19 bellwether counties and 27 out of 27 toss-up House races, but somehow miraculously receive the most votes in American history with no coattails?
And he didn't even show up to and go out on the campaign trail.
Right. That he would
in his basement the whole time.
That he would lose Florida, Ohio, and Iowa and win, even though it has never been done before.
Right.
They spread a web of lies about me and Russia for 4 years to try to overturn the 2016 election. And now they lie about how they interfered in the 2020 election, too. Big tech was used illegally. Where did all those votes show up from in Georgia? Where
What was used illegally?
What was that?
What did he say was used illegally?
Big tech. Big tech was used illegally.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Of course it was. And then he says, where did all those voters show up in Georgia? Where it was just revealed that they sold ballots for $10 a piece, or in Pennsylvania and Arizona and Wisconsin. He acts like he's aggrieved, but we're the ones who are aggrieved. America is suffering because of it, with a poisonous borders, record inflation, and a humiliating surrender in Afghanistan, $5 a gallon gas and higher, empty stock shelves, and rampant crime. America is the laughing stock of the world. And it's all because of the real insurrection, which took place on November 3rd. But this is an election year, and MAGA Republicans should get elected and work with me to fix this horror that Joe Biden and the Democrats have brought us. Never forget the crime of the 2020 presidential election. Never give up. Boy, gotta love that guy. He never gives up.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That's what we expect from a leader.
Yeah, he really was a good leader. I don't agree with everything he did or said.
Right.
But
we're all different. And, it's like, I don't agree with everything either. But
no.
When the bottom line, when you need a leader to lead, he does it.
Yeah. Yep, he does.
And especially when it comes to saving America.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
I love the fact that he got the remains of our soldiers to be flown back from North Korea. That was miraculous. Unbelievable. That's, wild. And that's not even something he promised on the campaign trail. It's something he observed. People were asking him, hey, can you do something if you get in there? Well, I don't know. I'll try. And then he did. Amazing. And he did it. And we got planes full of those soldiers' remains. And all these families who've been begging for decades, since the Korean War. So that's just one little
thing. Notice how none of the mainstream media ever talks about what's going on around the world, like like the lockdowns in Australia, or what's going on in Germany, or none of that, right?
Or in China. In China, they're welding the doors shut. Yeah.
If people were to see what was going on, they start to realize that there's a takeover taking place,
mm-hmm.
and they see the globalists for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Fascist.
Yeah.
But they can't, we've got to get that information out as much as we can.
Oh, I have a caller in here. Oh, it's Carl to go again. Let's let Carl in. Let's let Carl in and see what he has to say. All right. So he should be hooking up his microphone. Make sure there he is. He's back again. Hey, Carl.
Great haircut, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I was Elvis today, so I still have black in my sideburns and in my hair. So I had, when I do Elvis, I have a little bit hanging down so I can, do the,
Oh yeah, looks great. I'm just my computer's really slow. Hey, Max, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm excited to be here. If I can just get my computer to respond, I've got to get a graphics card for this thing. It's so slow.
Well, we can hear you.
Well, I went shopping yesterday. Last week I had a couple issues, and my 55-inch TV screen went out. So we went to Walmart last night and picked up two 70-inch TVs. So I've got those set right now. Oh yeah,
Really?
$498 each.
Why would you need two? Why would you need two? Oh, use one as a phone.
No, hold on.
Big phone.
I'll show you. There you are.
Oh,
there.
Oh my! Look at that.
So this is when I'm online. I'm online. There's my monitor.
Wow, that's impressive.
So I look the world of looking at a little 32 or 22-inch screen trying to surf the internet. That's like 1980 style.
Yeah.
Today we've got to expand things. Plus my eyesight's getting bad. So let's just make it to where I'm not straining my eyes anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they just brought out a 98-inch TV. If you want to pay $8,000 for it.
Oh. Yeah, don't tell my wife, because she's excited about. She's like, oh, those are. Wait a minute. Look at the size of that window. That's an 8-foot window. Our TV should be that large. Like, oh my God. 70 years.
For 10 years, we've had the technology for roll-up, literally roll-up screens that you can roll it up and stick it in your backpack and go camping.
Sure.
It's actually in some of the new TVs. It's just they're not giving us the roll-out varieties.
Okay. Yeah.
But they will eventually. It'd be like wallpaper. You could put it on your wall, and it'd be paper thin. Well, not like paper thin, a little thicker than paper, but like a placemat on your table.
Okay. Well, I got, let's see. I got my little iMac here. I don't know. It's 21 inch, I think. 21 inch, maybe. That's what I got. And, I don't know. I have two iMacs right next to each other, but I can't get them to talk to each other. So I would like, some people can do that two screen thing. Haven't been able to do it. I tried a FireWire. I tried everything, but they're different operating systems. So I think that's why.
What are you running? What kind of
Two
tablet?
iMac.
Never used one of those. Not sure. I stick to the just Windows PCs.
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're easy to work with. They're easy to build. They're cheap, and everything's pretty much universal when it comes to running Windows. So, like I said, I just have an HDMI cable. My computer's got 7 HDMI ports. One specifically designed for multiple monitors, but it doesn't have any processing power, so the graphics gets kind of shoddy. And I still haven't bought a graphics card for it, which would, I would replace the multiple monitor one with a graphics card with multiple USB ports and HDMI ports, and then run the TVs off that, and then the computer can handle the graphics of the TV a lot easier. But yeah, if you're just using, if you actually get a PC, the motherboard will have 1 to 2 HDMI cards, which whenever you're looking at. There, like I said,
I would never get a PC. I had a PC once, and I would never own one again. It's just my own personal thing. I've always had Macs because I do art on the Mac, and so when I'm not doing a show, I'm working on my book on the same Mac, and I paid $125 for this Mac.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that I can't print from my phone, but my mom can.
Yeah, there you go. I know there's always a learning curve for this
I
stuff.
spent 6 hours one day trying to print from my phone and getting nowhere.
Uh-oh.
And my mom says, "Oh, that's easy."
We lost Carl. Carl, you still there? Carl dropped out. I wonder what happened. So your mom can print, but you can't.
Yep. I wonder let's do a poll. How many people in the audience can print from their phones?
Yeah. Can anyone in the chat print from their phone? Does anybody know how to do that? I certainly don't know how to do that.
1 if you can, 2 if you can't.
Yeah. 1 if you can print from your phone, and 2 if you can't.
They say it's quite easy, but like I said, I'm sure it's easy if somebody shows you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I built my own computer before, and that was relatively easy, and I change out the screens on laptops and phones and things like that. I can do that.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky, but it can be done fairly readily. I've done that a few times, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the videos you can find online when YouTube, in the day when YouTube was actually useful.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Then you could find these things and it'll show you exactly how to do it. But
yeah. Wow. Now I bought my one and only PC. It was a laptop. I got it because I took a job selling cars at the dealership up here in Sturgeon Bay, Jim Olson Motors. And this was years ago, 2009, 2008, something like that. And I didn't have a computer. And I asked my manager, I said, "Hey, I need a computer." "Oh, I'll go talk to Jim." Talks to Jim, comes back and says, "Well, he says that he didn't need a computer to sell a car in the 60s. You shouldn't need one." Well, I was the 6th or 7th salesperson. I was the only one without a computer. And if you know anything about buying cars these days, all of the deals are on the computer. That you have to look up what the dealership is, or what the GM is giving for incentives. So you really can't sell it without a computer. So after about 2 months of waiting to get a computer, I just went out and bought my own computer. And they were set up for PCs there, so I just got a laptop. And my manager says, "What? Where'd you get that? Why'd you bring that?" I said, "I bought it myself because I need it. I need it for my job." eventually they did get me a computer, but that PC was, I don't know, man. You could bend it. It was like cheap. It was like super cheap. It was like there was no stability to it at all. And it didn't last very long. So I'm not a PC fan. I'm a Mac guy. And I buy all my Macs used from Newegg out in California. Dogs are getting restless. So there. That's my experience with PC.
Wow.
You know, that's why there's different kinds of computers for different kinds of people.
Oh yeah.
And like
I do a lot of things with predictive software, and I mean I have MathCAD and things like that I use, computer-aided design type stuff. But
okay.
Because the big thing I do with that is I wrote a program that predicts the properties of a material before you make it.
Oh wow.
And so that helps me when it'll predict. There's a technique in analytical chemistry called HPLC,
okay,
which is high performance liquid chromatography is what it stands for, but it allows you to analyze different materials, and I can predict if I make a product, where it's going to come out on the chromatogram.
Okay.
And so it helps greatly try to decide whether you've actually made something.
Right.
Or not. And of course, if you're able to predict the properties, you can look at a molecule and say, okay, what would I need to do to this molecule to give it a higher boiling point, or a higher strength, or a lower toxicity, or any number of things, your criteria you're trying to do. And it's useful to have a model that works.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
You're trying to develop something new. So,
so did you test it and with the final product and see if it was accurate?
Oh yeah. I tested against. That's like any model you make. You got to test it to make sure it's actually working.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's not perfect, of course. You know, you're always refining it and learning from other people what they've done to. And
Carlsbad.
I made one.
Carlsbad. I'm gonna let him.
Okay.
Keep going.
I made one for predicting the ozone depletion potential of a material.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to invent new, fire extinguishing agents like the old halons of old.
Okay.
But one that wouldn't deplete ozone.
There you go.
And I've got one that's I eventually may try to bring it to market. So
I'll
have to wait and see. It's going to be a little bit of a technological challenge to manufacture it. That's one of the reasons I'm not in a rush to do it, because a lot of things, if you tell yourself, I don't know how, but I'm going to find a way to make this efficiently, for example.
Yeah. And
just give your brain a chance to, and give the consciousness of the universe a chance. It'll eventually feed you the answer. You just have to be alert enough when it does feed you the answer that you see it.
Right.
I tell people, when you put out a prayer out there, your prayer is being answered. And in fact, one of the things I suggest to people when they put out a prayer, say, make sure when the prayer is answered that you send it many times, and you kind of force me to trip over it. So that it becomes so obvious that you're wondering what's going on here. You literally will, it'll literally be put in your face so that you can't ignore it anymore if you keep ignoring it.
Right.
It might be a person. Your answer might be in the form of a person who has information to pass on to you. Or.
So what does your device do?
You don't know.
He's asking, what does your device do? What does your device do? He said. I think he missed part.
What does my device do?
Yeah.
You mean are you talking about the program for?
I'm not sure. What are you talking about?
Well, he was talking about he had something either in beta or something that he hasn't put out on the market yet, and then he was talking about prayers.
Oh, that's what that is it's actually a new chemical composition that's works like a non-ozone depleting fire extinguishing agent. It falls
Cool.
part of the same and puts out fires, but does not. First of all, it doesn't contain any bromine, chlorine, or iodine. So it's got a boiling point where you want it to be, so that it can vaporize when it hits a fire, but it comes out as a liquid.
You're describing water, I think.
No,
I think I blew your big secret there. He was going to talk.
No,
He was about to patent water, folks.
No, I'm not patenting water.
Talking about new fire extinguishers, some students, and I believe I can't remember the actual college, and I won't even say the wrong one, but anyway, some college students designed a fire extinguisher using sound waves. They hooked up
sound waves
with sound waves. They had a speaker with a built-in amplifier on the device, and it had a little tube, and and they turned it on. You could hear the hum, and they poured some oil in a skillet on the sidewalk, set it on fire, let it burn for a few seconds, and then just waved the device over the fire, and it went out.
Wow.
And that's an oil fire.
That's not too hard to imagine, because the sound could cause alter the chemical reactions that are going on.
I think it has something to do with what we were talking about yesterday with the speed of sound, the reverberations. If it vibrates just at the right frequency, it'll remove the ignition point. Basically, it'll prevent the ignition point from staying active. I'm not saying it right, but basically the concussion of the sound waves patting on the fires, like hitting it with a blanket, just
interesting,
really fast.
Wow. What about suction? Could you use suction to instead of blowing something on it, suck the flames?
The heat would melt whatever unless you had some type of glass tube or something that can maintain the heat. But even still, when you try to suck that fire in, the heat will melt whatever components you have in it.
Okay.
I'm also working on another. You've all seen the little snakes that you light.
Bless you.
The things the pellet that you light on 4th of July that makes the snakes.
Yeah.
I'm making something that works like that for fighting big forest fires. Except that when you drop this from the air, like from a ship, onto the fire, when it gets to a certain temperature, it literally expands rapidly and makes that kind of char and covers the whole fire.
Cool.
But you have to make the char strong enough that it's not going to just fall apart, because the flame is pretty violent at the surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to hold up long enough it can kind of choke off the fire, but also you don't want something that when it breaks down, it's going to leave toxic things in the environment, right? You don't want to replace one problem with another.
Right.
And then, so the idea of this thing would be put in critical areas of a forest fire, and then right following would be another plane that drops water on it. It suppresses the fire long enough that a plane following it can actually extinguish.
Okay.
But will it fertilize the land?
Say that again?
I said, will it fertilize the land or will it make it toxic?
No, it won't make it toxic, certainly.
Well, I mean, then
Not
put
adding
something
anything to the soil.
so it'll grow green.
Foreign, it's not adds any foreign elements to the soil. It takes a little bit of time. Water helps break down the char. As it rains, it causes the char to disintegrate. And it might leave a little bit of nitrogen in the soil, but that's a fertilizer.
Sure.
So it does fertilize the land. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Although I wish you'd convert your research more to frequencies and sound and whatnot, because whatever you develop using the toward field and sound waves, that could be implemented in a lot of other things outside of just extinguishing fires.
I agree with that, but you have to understand all these, even a molecule boils down to the use of frequencies. Okay, so if you understand what works, you can go back and understand it from a different perspective. I'll give you an example of that. I know a little bit about anesthesia. Okay, and the anesthesia, it works specifically at terahertz frequencies. The frequencies of our consciousness is terahertz frequencies. The anesthesia molecule interferes with terahertz frequencies and therefore interferes with the consciousness of our brain. And it doesn't interfere with the other part of functioning. Our brain, our body the heart keeps pumping, we keep breathing, our autonomic system keeps working. It's just our conscious mind is temporarily put on hold until the anesthesia subsides.
Well, that is awesome.
That all the living beings, all the breathing beings, their consciousness works at a similar frequency, which it's either, I think it's 0.3 terahertz. It's either 0.3 terahertz or 3 terahertz. I have to go look it up again. The person who actually discovered the paper, this paper, I have to credit it to Linda Moulton Howe, because she's the one that was looking up things and found a paper on anesthesia and consciousness and found the connection between terahertz frequencies and consciousness.
Wow.
And there's supposed to be, the paper's supposed to be on her site somewhere. I think it might be a couple other places by now.
Sure.
Well,
Wow.
don't give her too much credit. She does work for the not so good guys, the alphabet agencies. I did want to do a shout out. I forgot to do a shout out to Darkberry Mud Rabbit, Jerry Lehane, which I will email you back or call you after the show. Sorry, go ahead.
One of her best friends are the Dolans, and they've gone through a shift in consciousness. If you go watch the recent shows, he's talking about, he's being careful not to say it in, he's trying to avoid certain terms just like everybody else is, but it's obvious he's talking about that our world is being taken over by a fascist state.
Mm-hmm.
Before he wasn't alert to that at all. You watch over the last 6 months, you can see he went from very despairing, but not understanding what was going on, to understanding what's going on, but still being a little bit, frightened. But he's such close friends with Linda Moulton Howe. She used to be, her whole show used to have, the beginning of the show used to be about everything about the vaccine and the virus and everything else. And then she suddenly stopped doing that, and she's now even alluding to the consciousness of our planet changing, and that there's an evil that's and she's not talking about us as being evil. She recognizes the same source. So people, you have to understand, people do change. People's allegiance do change. Many of us were support. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter, for God's sake. And then one day, all of a sudden, something that the media had said, I know that's not true, right?
Yeah.
And so I went looking. In the back of my mind was Trump saying, fake news, fake news, fake news. So I went looking for other sources.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, I started discovering Red Pill 78 and all these other sources.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I said, the difference between what the alternative media was putting out and the media always said it unnamed sources, anonymous sources.
Yeah.
So they really didn't give you any sources, where the alternative media, they were giving you documents you could go look up yourself.
Yeah.
Sources, baby, sources.
Sauce.
So-
Many times they'd actually show you exactly where to get it.
Sauce. Yeah, they had the sauce.
Max, you just proved that you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I was talking. Go ahead.
You can teach an old dog new trick. It's part of the nature of the time we're in, and the expanding consciousness. That's part of why we have to go through what we're going through. So the people that are going to wake up this time around do,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are not. Some are not going to graduate to the next level of existence. But I like to try to explain to people, nobody gets left behind in the long term. All are redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
They don't wake up this time, they'll wake up next time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we hope so anyway. One thing, I was at the store the other day, and I was explaining toward Fields and, how the deep state doesn't have your best interests in mind, and neither do most doctors. And, this old lady in a wheelchair looked at me and she goes, "Are you Republican?" I looked at her and said, "No, ma'am, I'm a patriot." And, gentleman behind her goes, "Well, you a Democrat?" I looked at him, I said, "No, sir, I'm a patriot." She goes, "Well, I love my democracy." I said, "Well, no, ma'am, you don't love democracy. You're Republican, you're republic." She goes, "No, I love my democracy." And he was all, "I love my democracy." People don't realize that term democracy just actually means communism. There's not much difference between the two. Republican or Democrat, you're working for the same evil corporation that's got you fuddled into a 1-2 scenario. Got to break away from this Republican Democrat bullshit, because that's all it is. It's the same snake controlling both heads. You're a patriot. You support your country. You support your brethren. It's about bringing everybody in your nation and your community together. That's what patriotism is. Republican and Democrat, it just means, whose money are you following? And all the money leads to the same people. So you're not any different than a Democrat if you're a Republican. And I don't support. Sorry, go ahead.
Our awakening consciousness is the biggest weapon to the deep state, and love. I mean, love is a trans-dimensional force. It literally is not stopped by time or space, and it can't be rejected. But I've said this before. If you're going to use love effectively, use it, say, to heal the entire multiverse. Say, I want to heal the entire multiverse. And initially, your brain can't grasp the fact that you can actually make a difference in healing the multiverse, but you actually do.
Oh, absolutely.
You do.
Yeah.
And it takes But so when you say it and you say it and you say it, it's like one of these things you kind of keep saying it, and then eventually you get an example of that. And when you switch to more things closer to home in your prayers, you suddenly realize, oh my God, they're happening, and you realize literally that we are divine creatures. We're like one cell in the mind of God. That we come to this planet with a superpower already. It's called the placebo effect.
No kidding, right?
That's a superpower we already have. We don't realize it as a superpower.
Yeah.
When you believe something is going to happen, it does.
Yeah. What is it? 41% of the time? 41% of the time, placebos work, right? So I say make all drugs placebos. They'll work 41% of the time.
Which is more effective than any drug on the market.
Right.
With zero side effects.
The Invisipill.
The Invisipill, absolutely. Talking about the Republic. Sorry, Max.
You realize your power of your consciousness and how it's related to everybody else, then you can look at the world differently. You can look at it, even the people we were fighting against are God's creations. They're still serving as a training aid. They're still serving the better good ultimately. They can hurt us. They can hurt us now if in our corporeal reality if we let them. So we don't let them.
I look at it like this. We are all created from the same source, but it's our choices that give us our divine experience, which is part of the system. We choose to live our existence through, a reflection of God, and the deep state, even though they, were created from God, choose to give their energy and reflection of darker spirits, darker entities. They are the yin to our yang. We are not all inherently good, but we choose to be good. We have the same capability of being just as evil.
Yep. We choose. We make that choice because we do it the same way everybody else does. We experience it, right? I go back to the tried and true example. Our mom or dad tells us not to touch that hot item on the stove. And do we believe her or him or her? No. We touch the stove and then we believe it, right?
Yeah.
We experience it and say, oh, that's what you meant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that again.
I always use my brothers to somebody else to test it for me. Hey, that looks hot. Hey, touch that for me. Yep, it's hot. Let me get you a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I was always.
We learn from experience. That's why the whole reincarnation makes sense to me. Is we experience so many different realities. We play the bad guy, and we learn that we're literally creating our own hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By our own choices.
Yes, and if you listen to Corey Good's testimony, Mika's people, which is another planet in our star cluster here, his people, they were being ruled by the Draconians, just like we are, but they broke free 200 years ago. They snapped out of the frequency, and once they snapped on the frequency, they stopped giving loose to the reptilians, and they kind of, even their nanites kind of went on in like power save mode, and they wiped them all out. Then the Zulu came, which are they look like black people, but they're from another planet in this star cluster. They're actually the first humans in this star cluster to trade with other beings from other star systems or from other planets, because they did it all with their consciousness. So they came to Mika's people after they cleared out all the tunnels and they captured all the escaping reptilians and the Cabal members. And so the Zulu came, and the head Zulu guy, one of the head Zulu guys said, asked for their permission to enter their hells. because on their planet, they had created through their co-creative consciousness, 3 different kinds of hells. So they gave him permission. He went in there and he released the souls that were trapped in these 3 different hells created by the people's consciousness. And so they re-entered the planet's reincarnation cycle. So, and they taught them spirituality and everything else like that. So, yeah, we create our own hells. You're right. You're right. That's a possibility.
I was explaining this to a Baptist minister the other day, and he, at first he was very resistant to what I had to say. He says, "You're talking about Hinduism and you're talking about whatever." I said, "I'm talking, yes, some of these ideas are from that, but there's also evidence that they once, some of those ideas were not foreign to the Bible. At one time, some of these ideas were in there, but then later scrubbed." So, and so he slowly was coming around, and of course, he was asking, he just said, "Well, what do you think's going on right now?" And I gave him an earful, and he'd never heard of that. You know, he never heard of that. He's like, "Whoa, that makes a lot of sense."
Wow.
You know, he was trying to put it in perspective. I said, "You're seeing a planet-wide revolution, a planet-wide, people, where consciousness of the people are growing. And of course, the evil was trying to convince the people that haven't awakened yet that the other side is the bad side. They're trying to convince us that we're the bad side.
That's nice.
And he wanted to know where'd I go to hear about that. He wanted to know more. I said, well, you go search out the alternative media, search out,
Yeah.
And I named half a dozen different places they could start. I said, what you want to do when you go to these places, ask them where you can find the information that was on Hunter's laptops.
Yeah.
Ask them where to find the information that was on Hillary's server.
Yeah.
Ask them where to find all these things, and they'll tell you where to go to find it.
Yeah.
And then try to go ask the mainstream media for anything to back up their story, and you'll learn what we all have learned.
They'll tell you where to go. They'll tell you where to go, but it's not where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Double hockey sticks. Imaginary land, Disneyland. Go to Disneyland. You'll find it. You'll find our sources. Or the CIA. That's basically where they get them.
But
right.
At the end of it, he says the biggest compliment he could give me, he says, "Wow, you ought to be a teacher."
There you go.
Because he said, I learned more in this last hour talking with you than.
That's cool.
So.
I was talking to a friend of mine in England or in London today. She's in the UK. And she said that when all of this started to happen, when we started to wake up in America, she said, "You guys are really inspiring to us. And, we couldn't figure out what happened, how you could wake up." And I said, "It's because of citizen journalism. That's how we woke ourselves up. We told each other, and we took the bullhorn ourselves, and we created a bullhorn." And
right. I may not have a fact, but I mentioned it, and you have that fact. And then someone else has another fact.
Yeah.
And so collectively, we have a huge amount of information, and we can start putting the pieces together and say, there's something emerging from all this information. We're being lied to across the board.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things I was talking about the other night, doing my research on these toroidal fields and the foundation of everything. Every person that I've researched, they all focus on one aspect of the toroidal field where they have their, a more solid understanding. And that's what they teach and that's what they preach. And then you go to somebody else and they're doing the same thing, but on a different aspect of it. And after you go through, all the teachers right now of the toroidal field, you learn a little something different on each and every one of them. Past couple of days, I've been trying to contemplate how to get Aaron here to understand it a little bit better. And unfortunately, it goes back to the math. But if Aaron doesn't want to follow the math, I mean, it's only 10 digits and they only double, and doesn't matter how, that's one of the beauties of it is the numbers regulate how large or small the toroidal field is. But one thing that
aren't ready for the information. We can't force information on people. This is one of the things I said about, if we've learned something as patriots, it is that you have free will, and you can't force it on somebody, because that's what the deep state does. They try to take dominion or control over our free will, and in doing so, they take our freedoms from us.
Yeah.
So think about those terms when you're thinking about what laws to support. For example, I made that earlier. The example that we should be taking the lead of what the patriots taught us and doing things that we want. The whole abortion debate, we ought to be taking it to the local and state levels and enacting laws within those states, and forget about trying to change the Supreme Court decision right now. Why? Because we know what happens. If we overturn Roe v. Wade right now, what would happen? Anybody got a protection? They would just fight to put it back, right?
Well, Max, I don't want.
We want unification, and we know the only thing that's going to bring unification to our planet right now is to cut out division and help people to evolve in their consciousness.
Right.
Okay.
On that, Max, one thing that you don't understand is we only have, so it goes back to, why is the Supreme Court so important? And why is their judgment rule over everything? Is because the Supreme Court is the only constitutional court in the United States. So to undo and excuse the French, but unfuck everything, all courts need to go to constitutional court. That way there is no Supreme Court. All courts will be Supreme Court. All courts will follow constitutional law. But until people wake up and realize that, we're being fined and taxed, and everything, every law you break is just a financial transaction. Instead of going to jail, if you just ask them how much you owe them, you could pay off your debt and never actually go to jail. So we got to get rid of this corrupt law system. And to do that, you either need to start small in your local community and expand with force, and go from community to community until you have a state that follows the exact same laws, rules, and regulations that's constitutional provide. Or you've got to reset the entire nation, which is what we believe is happening.
We got to take away the tools of the deep state. What are the tools? Ultimately, the tools are tools of control, right? And one of the fundamental tools is selling us on the idea that all of the resources that we have at our disposal are scarce, and therefore you need somebody to regulate that, right? So that's how they've set up all these things where they're in control of our banking and everything else. And as a society, we are now capable of going into space, where by comparison in our solar system, the resources are infinite. We're approaching the next paradigm where the economics of abundance rather than economics of scarcity. And we're also shifting away. We're shifting to a global financial system where you don't have a middleman. You don't have a banker in the middle. You make your own decisions. And they can't do anything about that. And that's going to be liberating. It's going to take some time because, frankly, I don't understand it. And there are few out there that understand this and are trying to teach us, bring us up to speed on how and why we should do it. And eventually we will get there. And we'll get there by experiencing it, right? I predict that one of the things Trump will do when he comes back is we'll go to a global financial system. We'll be issued a blockchain card that's going to be used not only for any voter identification, but also the reason people will want that card and won't deny they have that card is because it's their access to huge amounts of resources.
Mhm.
Hey, Max.
Okay, and so
Do you remember a time, and it wasn't that long ago, so do you remember a time when it wasn't that long ago, probably mid-'80s, when there were very, 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 very few insurance agencies and no one was actually required to have insurance? And at that same time, you know, the medical field didn't have full autonomy when it came to forcing things on people. You know, our rights have been slowly stripped and taken away over the years.
Hospitals were not for profit at the beginning.
Right. 1972 was the last year that healthcare was nonprofit. It was illegal to profit from healthcare. What we need to do is turn things up on their side. And I got a graphic to show what example of what can happen when you turn something on their side. Completely different perspective. I think you'll agree this is important. Check this out.
Oh, I disagree.
I just flipped our microwave on its side and he absolutely loves it.
Look at that smile. That is one happy microwave.
I love it. It's a smiley microwave. It's hilarious.
Oh, boy.
I love this meme. This
That is great.
it.
I contend what's happening is exactly as it's supposed to have happened. This is all part of the consciousness of mankind graduating to a level where they can handle the next level of our existence, and where we weed out the worst of the worst that who have strong capabilities. If left among us, they would continue to find ways to kill us and everything else. So they have to go back to remedial education to learn what they should have learned already.
Mm-hmm.
And
You mean the Torrid field?
25,000 years doing it again.
Hey,
You mean vortex mathematics and the Torrid field and how it affects everything in the universe? I absolutely 100% agree with you, Max. Everybody needs to go back to school and learn the actual knowledge of our universe and everything that exists inside of it, instead of the BS propaganda that they've all been forced to, that I believe in their entire life.
Everything is propaganda.
Yeah.
Think about it. What's wrong, with this current science is basically, it's all based upon random convergence.
No, it's based on theory. It's all based on theory, which is nothing more than, oh, I have an idea. I can't prove that idea, but I want you to believe that you cannot contest my idea because I called it a theory. I'm so smart.
Well, I know, but there's a core theme for the evil part of it, and that's random convergence, that everything in the universe happens randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of our famous scientists have challenges, Einstein being one of them. Einstein says God does not play dice with the universe.
All right. When you say Albert Einstein, you have to put /Fauci. Okay? Because every time someone mentions Einstein, you might as well be mentioning Fauci, because they are identical. They are propagated bullshit liars put up in the mainstream media as they actually know something when they don't.
Hello to loyal to the foils in the audience.
Raised himself to that position. Remember, other people did. Okay, Einstein is the one that said that it's not random. That God plays a role here. God does not play dice. It's not random. Okay. We're all at different levels of our understanding. Okay, that's just the nature of things. It doesn't happen overnight. Not every one of us has a different understanding of consciousness right now. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're all. Here's the thing: is we are all in a relearning phase. I mean, most of us that are watching Aaron's show and Red Pill's show and trying to figure out what is going on in this world, We are all forcing ourselves to unlearn the crap that was forced on us and we were told was true. We're learning that all of that is lies and misconceptions. And
Right.
you know, you're in the beginning stages and you're an intelligent man and you figured a lot of this out on your own, but you got to go further and you got to keep going further. I mean, when you think about history, only the victors write the history. And right now, the deep state have been the victors for thousands of years. So they've absolutely erased everything of any importance and any real value in our past. And all they have pushed is whatever they want to propagate, propaganda, which is where you have Einstein and Fauci and all these other idiots that post theory after theory after theory.
Propaganda.
Right, which is
Fauci, Einstein, because we were all agents of propaganda, because we were all part of it, and our consciousness increased, and we stepped out of it a step. And so, once your consciousness increases, you're not going to go backward. You'll say, "Oh, you just have a new reality." And you're like, "Whoa, the media's lying." It's tough at first to discover the media's been lying to you, and then you go back and say, "How long have they been lying to us?" Everybody's going through that, and then they're like, "I used to depend on them for everything," and then you realize, "Oh my God."
You don't depend on one person outside of God, but you do depend on your family, and sometimes families can be misled, so you have to be the black sheep to bring your family back to the center. That's what it's all about. And yes, Austin Morris, those who contested Einstein were more likely patriots and not pushed up propagandists.
I got to give a shout out here to Loyal to the Foil is in the house. Welcome, Loyal.
I'm just saying that everybody's going through this transition now, and not everybody's going to make it, right? We know that. Some people aren't going to graduate. They're going to continue to hold that the deep state has got it right, and all you others are fascists, is what they're saying, right?
Oh, no, please.
Not going to.
Those people are the ones that, please don't fight. Please don't argue. Can't we all just get along? Can't we just live in peace and harmony? Let them molest and kill children. It's okay. Just don't involve me and don't bring your aggression to my table. We must live harmonic. That's not what it means, folks.
They will cloak themselves in many cases with legitimate good ideas. In fact, I tell people, from my perspective, it's just my opinion, that we should not shrink away from society just because the society's screwed up, okay? There are things that we can learn from them, and we're not going to go back because we're already awakened, okay? But I had this discussion with someone about going to movies, right? Movies that you enjoy. I enjoy science fiction movies. But there's all kinds of symbolism. I said, yes, but think about it. We saw that symbolism and didn't recognize it before. Now we recognize it. There are others out there that can benefit from us being around when the movie lets out. And they over here is saying, did you see all the symbolism in that? And then someone will say, what? And we might be part of that next personing awakening. So I'm one of these people that just because the deep state engages in cancel culture, we should not, okay? And I'm not saying we support everything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there is value in some of the things that we're cutting out of our lives right now.
Not much.
So just be cautious, not to go too far.
Yeah. Be careful.
Because you got to remember, we can't be selfish. We are, without saying so, we can't push awakening on somebody, right? But we can share with them and be there when they're wanting to know what's going on, or
I don't know. I think a few people need a good slap in the face, get them to wake up, I mean, that's me personally. I am a bit of a bull in a china shop. I don't care if I step on toes. Unfortunately, I feel that more people learn when their feelings are hurt than when you are too soft and too easy on them. I believe in disciplining children, not beating them to a pulp, but I like good physical exercise. I like to watch them sweat a little bit. But that's me. I don't need to lay a hand on a child to discipline them, but I can sure in the heck raise my voice and tell them no.
Right.
And when it comes to full-grown adults who are fully brainwashed propaganda because they held on to that belief so hard, sometimes you've got to really rock their world to show them the truth. And otherwise they will never see it.
First step. They have to take the first step toward that. They have to say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
They still have to drink.
Right.
Yeah. Red pill.
You're drowning first. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. But that, to be honest, that's, and that's the key. In my youth, when I was young, I was told early I had the advantage in life, I think. In my preteen years, someone told me that everything I'll ever be taught is a lie, and it's my job to discover the truth. I was taught that preteen, and that was the only message that I held on to my entire life. And even when I didn't know what the truth was, I still was forced to believe. I had to keep hitting that I believe button all through grade school and through the military and through my world travels. I didn't know what the truth was. So I'm sitting here forced to believe this because I had no one else in my life that I ever encountered say, hey, look, this is what's wrong and why. Here is how you research. This is where you got to go back to the beginning. For me, I was just blindly looking at statues and ancient, archaeology, trying to figure out what they knew, since all I know is a lie. And I think if people had that question in their mind, that they would start to search for answers outside of mainstream media, which is what got you to search for answers outside of mainstream media. They told you something that you knew was not right, and you just didn't let it go. So you took that extra step to find out why.
Right.
And not enough people have that question in their head.
To do that. But where Red Pill, I think the reason he's such a big leader in the movement is because he recognized from the beginning that this is not Democrat versus Republican.
Right.
This is not.
Right.
We should not attack.
Sorry, I just saw that picture.
That's what got us here. Yeah. We need to be the uniters, and we unite because we understand and love. We can be the better person. We can say,
hey,
okay,
we should make a YouTube channel.
We don't want to trigger them, right? Because if they're triggered, they're not going to listen. Mm-hmm. We want them to feel comfortable to come in here, and then they'll discover rapidly that, hey, these people don't hate. They're talking about loving their fellow Americans. So then automatically they'll say, well, that's not what the mainstream media says about these people. They said these people are violent. They say these people are fascist. Yeah. They say these people are racist. And when they see that that's not the case, all of a sudden they really start to awaken.
Yeah.
And they start being open and saying, hey, this is not a Democrat versus Republican thing. This do you love freedom? Do you love your country?
Hey, Max.
Got a place here.
Hey, Max, how are you going to get somebody on the left? I mean, these really, really hardcore brainwash folks to watch Red Pill, to watch Aaron's show, to watch Pena Perspective, to watch. Yeah, I mean, they can't even look at Fox.
How?
I mean, they can't look at an alternative.
Carl.
Sorry.
You know how a good way to do it, and someone did. A friend of Red Pill's used to call him a lot. He was a barber, and he put the Red Pill on as they were getting their hair cut. They had no choice. So this is the way we do it. But
the bottom line, it's up to that individual.
Mm-hmm.
We can't force anything on them. They have to. the circumstances that are being created by the deep state and are allowed to, the reason this belligerent occupation is allowed to proceed the way it is, which we all find extremely uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is so that as many people are given every chance in the world to wake up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then it's all going to be turned around. They're going to really they're going to be forced to wake up when all of a sudden there are mass arrests or there's military tribunals and they're like, what? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that aren't waking up now, they'll get the shock treatment.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And not all of those are going to wake up, of course. There'll be some
Right.
that to the end insist that they're in the right, right? So
Right.
all we can do is the best we can do. And I'm just saying, we know better. We need to be the ones to say, we're not going to divide. We're going to send out love,
Mm-hmm.
not directly. Don't direct that love at the evil. Direct it at all people.
Mm-hmm.
And that love is transformative. It's the power of creation within us. We, let it transform the people as it always does.
Mm-hmm.
We can't change a person. We've learned that. People learn that they can't force it on their parents or their
Right.
Siblings, right? You just have to continue
Right.
to love them, continue to care, and just wait and hope that. Remember that we know that we're eternal beings, right? Our corporeal part of our existence is just one part of it.
I've always learned it's this. You got to plant seeds. I mean, we're all gardeners. The seed of knowledge, I think, is one of the most important tools that we have. You're right. Cannot force that horse to drink the water. But if I plant a seed in his mind, even the smallest one, that he's thirsty and that water is cool and crisp and clean and refreshing, he'll take a sip. Even I may be long gone, but he'll take a sip. The beautiful thing about seeds is, they're toroidal fields. They grow and they grow with exceptional power.
You were going a little too far. You're trying to push something on Aaron, and couldn't you feel the pushback? I mean, in that case, I think you were triggering. You were triggering Aaron, right?
Right.
Don't do that because he's probably more resistant to that than he ever was now.
It takes a long time for people to learn anything. I had to learn the hard way. I've told this story before too, but many years ago, I was invited to be in a parade to help hand out stickers for this representative in our area, Tad Jude. His name was Tad Jude. I said, sure, I'd love to do that, because he went to everyone's houses and always talked to everyone. He came to our school. He came to Mom and Dad's house. When I got my own house in Mound, he came to my house. And I said, wow, I really admire the way you keep in touch with the people. This is what a true leader is. I really appreciate you. And he said, well, you come down and help me. If you want to, you can help hand out stickers. So I did. I went out there handing out stickers, and there's another young guy there. And I said, this is a long time ago, before Bill Clinton was president. And I said, well, and Tad Jude was a Democrat, and I was a Democrat. Or I thought I was. And so I said, hey, I think Bill Clinton's probably going to win the nomination. He's probably going to be the president. I bet Tad's pretty excited about that. He said, no, he's not excited about that. I said, why not? Oh, didn't you hear? He switched. He's a Republican. And I took those stickers. I'm out of here. I threw them at him, and I was out of there. I was pissed off. But now, years later, I'm looking back at myself going, wow, what an idiot I was. The thing I liked about him was that he went door to door and kept in touch with the people. And as it turns out, after he was done with that part of his life, he became a judge. And to be a good judge, it's probably really good that he was on both sides. So I was really ashamed at myself, at my former self. But, hindsight's 20/20, right? And also, when I was a little kid, when I loved to look at dinosaurs and study dinosaurs, I was curious, how did they know so much about these dinosaurs when all we have is bones? I mean, how do you know what they ate? Then I found out it was from their teeth. I looked at their teeth. I looked at my teeth. I went, wait a minute. We don't have meat eating teeth. We have more like grinding teeth and fruit and vegetable teeth. But yet it took me from a little kid till my late 40s to quit eating meat, even though I had that inkling. That's how long it took for that to take hold. So you can't rush someone. And
right.
Yeah.
And there's, we all have bad and good within us. That's the struggle.
Yeah. And
we learn by experience, by a lot of experiences. And then we learn, hey, that didn't get me anywhere. That created a mini hell that I had to go through.
Well, it's also,
I don't want to do that.
I also look at it like, emotional attachment. Aaron's extremely emotionally attached to his perception of the world. And here I come in with all this wonderful excitement, and I'm vibrating really fast.
Here's an observation, Carl. You always say, you accuse other people of not being as to the level where you are, but that is a very condescending thing to say. And that is something that also will it's a vinegar, it's vinegar, not honey, right? So yeah,
you're triggering Aaron, and he's not going to respond pleasantly. What's the appropriate thing is just don't try to push it on you. I agree, you have some good information, okay, and I agree with a lot of it, Carl. It's just the approach.
Yeah, and it's okay for some people not to believe something that some other person thinks. It just doesn't. It's
right.
I don't know.
That's why we should not throw out the good. That there's evil people out there that are still giving us some good ideas that are worthy of us listening to.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's hard to accept, but if you accept the fact that we were once played the bad guy before, you understand that they're all here for our movement in our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
This is all simulation designed to raise the consciousness of mankind so that they can go to the next level of existence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
hold on, Max. He's got Aaron's trying to show a book.
That's okay. I was just going to say, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Don't you think I mean, when I first told someone that I think I'm a time traveler and all these happened and that I wrote the plan and whatever, don't you think I knew that there'd be a lot of people think that guy's a Looney Tune, right? Okay, well, I can only do what my experience tells me to do. And you think it's difficult telling you guys? Well, just how you think difficult it was to tell my mom and my brothers and my sister and dad, and
yeah,
that was a conversation you didn't want to be part of.
Yeah,
and but to my surprise, some of them added to the proof that what I was saying was real. And that's another story. Is eventually I'll say more of it, but I can't say it now because it would dox me.
Okay.
And Aaron knows a few things that happened in my experience when I met Trump, and that would dox me. But they also validate my story. Okay. I mean, I have a device. I have a time travel device. I think I know how it works, but I don't know for sure. I can explain it.
I got one too. I got one too, Max. I'm just saying. I got a time machine too.
Now, Max, does your time machine manipulate the toroidal field and sound waves through energy, frequency, and vibration?
Well, I I agree with this. Mine is based on spinning space-time. And so if you look up, what's the guy's name? Does anybody out there know the guy's name that had the grand unification theory, not Einstein. Austin's intelligent. He probably knows who I'm talking about. Maybe
Mr. Quantum Physics.
Did you catch my presentation to Aaron last time I talked about dimensional travel and time travel? So
I didn't catch it.
Okay, so it's real quick, real simple. I think all time is I have to get on time, another thing, but anyway, to time travel, you are actually dimensionally traveling. Your time's running parallel in all dimensions, just at different starting points. So for you to time travel, all you're doing is opening a portal and viewing or stepping into a separate dimension that is happening at a different time. Mm-hmm. It's not as complicated as most people believe. So, and Back to the Future, they kind of hit it on a nail in a couple aspects, outside of the fact that what you do in one timeline does not affect you in your previous timeline, because once you go into a different dimension, going back to the other one is, I don't know. I mean, unless you know the resonant frequency of that dimension, I don't think you're going to be able to get back to it.
Okay.
And since most dimensions run, sorry.
Well, you guys are talking about how to get a time machine to work. We're going to travel into time with my time machine. When all those time crystals go to the bottom time chamber, we will have all traveled 1 minute into the future. It takes approximately 60 seconds.
Well, when I built this thing, it wasn't with the intention of making a time machine. Okay, it was a chemical lab experiment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you say chemical?
Yeah.
So it exhibited anomalous behavior, and I showed it to a number of physicists and chemists and chemical engineers and that were friends. I said, "What do you make of that?" Okay, and they said, "We don't know how that's possible." And, one of them taught at college level chemistry. It says, "I can't explain it." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, because it was demonstrating anti-gravity." Okay, and I said, "Well, there's all kinds of theories presented about how it worked." And of course, one by one, we went through those things and said, "Okay, if that were true, why can you do this?" And I show them, and mm-hmm. No, you can't. That kicks that theory out. Anyway, there's one theory that support. I did go look up who's the time traveler professor at University of Connecticut. I did look at his theories and how he was proposing to using a ring laser to make a time machine. And one of the reasons I don't want to explain in detail about this is so simple that if I were to show it, anybody could do it. Well, I can't say I want everybody to do it because I'm afraid.
Oh, being selfish.
Although I believe every soul has that capability. We don't need a manufactured device to do that.
Right. I would like to see other dimensions. So if I could create a dimensional a device that creates, doorways, I would share the crap out of that. People would be bouncing around from timeline to timeline, having a great old time. And I'm subjecting it to the world as a learning tool, to expand our knowledge and our experiences, globally. And are there people that are going to misuse it? Sure, but that is, they're going to have to pay for their misuse of it. It's just like a gun.
Ron Mallett, is that the guy's name? Ron Mallett?
Yeah.
That's the guy.
I
Okay.
accept it's possible that I'm wrong about
That's
this,
Austin Morris said that.
but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Well, look at you. Did you ask yourself, what are the consequences of you sharing this information versus what are the consequences of you not sharing this information? And have you weighed those consequences?
Yeah,
I mean,
do.
He's a scientist. I'm sure he's a very
Well, at first
accomplished scientist.
To give you I didn't even have the complete memory of what transpired until I hit my head on a hanging lab shelf.
Doc Brown theory.
My head on the corner, and when that happened, I saw stars like they show you in the cartoons, and it was very strange. It looked like, you remember the old film strip machines, the Super 8 machines, and how if you got them, they were off balance and would show many images on the screen simultaneously.
Yeah,
absolutely. You could just get one image.
Sure.
I was seeing that in front of both eyes, and if the first day I could not see past it except on the sides. The second day I could see it was semi-transparent, and I could see it. And all of these looked like memories, the best I can say, pictures of memory that couldn't flashing in front of my eyes. And then the third day, it became almost completely transparent. And the fourth day, I could not see that again. Well, I had a very bad thing happen. I suddenly had some vision problems, and it became very bad. And this was like in October, and it wasn't until I got home for the holidays that I suddenly remembered even hitting my head. And but then all kinds of memories started coming to me. Memories of when I touched the device, and the memories of things that, as far as I know, I'd never done before. And I had memories of technologies of how to make anti-gravity work. Specifically, how to make an anti-gravity work. And
So, what you're describing is when you hit your head, those, fast forwarding images that you were seeing, the way you saw them, were frequency, you were able to perceive the other dimensions. They were fuzzy and they were moving quickly, but that's what you were looking at. Our ability to transverse dimensions is unique to everybody. Everybody has that ability. Some of us even have the ability, when under the right circumstances, to see the other dimensions in real time. Your experience, there's a version of you in each of these dimensions. One of these dimensions, you were actually working on this technology. When you hit your head, you accessed that version of you's memories, and they bled through the dimensional rip. You were able to absorb that information, and that's why you have that knowledge. I mean, that's the beauty of understanding these toward fields, is you see the blend of, there's, the frequency specifics of these regions. They're not as solid as we think. They're easily to transgress. Our pineal gland is it's crystal for the most part, and because it's crystal, gives us the ability to access these other frequencies. And I think it's amazing that your experience demonstrates that beautifully.
Things are being sent to me. At least two different things have been sent to me. One was a coin from 4 to 6 AD, Roman coin, and it's a coin identical to one that was in Oak Island.
Oh wow!
I want to at some point talk to them, because I have visions. I have visions of being on Oak Island and telling them exactly where the treasure is, and drawing a map. I could show. I have a vision me being with Marty Lagina's son Alex, and walking over to this place. And when we get to this place, we're wearing harnesses because I've had this vision. And when I get on there, and I'm pouring water around to wash off this area, and then the ground collapses from underneath us, and right underneath us is this, just a couple feet below us is this giant mound of gold.
Wow.
And I know specifically where it's at. And I actually called Marty Lagina and tried to reach him, but he won't take calls on that subject, you know. So it was screened by the secretary. I said, well, how do I get this information to him? I'm not trying to put myself in the middle of it. You know?
Wow.
Well, I love the show, but you know, because it's all cabal related and that's, you know, cabal's treasure. Yeah, I'm not a fan of financing their experiment on depopulation of the planet. So they don't have to find it. Don't help them. I mean, I think it's amazing that you know, but you know, yeah.
Well, I think you got to be cautious of lumping everybody in a cabal. By that definition, we were all cabal before we woke up.
True.
Yeah.
You know, just, you know, and I don't know what their status of awakeness is. You know, I haven't talked to them. But another time I had the actual draft of the plan that I wrote appear in front of me. And there was another witness. I have a friend that's a Secret Service agent that was a witness to that. And I had him, I was doing work at the time, and I had him, he picked up the document, was looking at it. It was obvious it was a markup, a draft, because you could see the different colored lines of moving this to this and that. And I said, well, who's the author? It's called The Plan by Aaron Moriarty.
Go Aaron. Oh, I can't wait to see this plan. Go ahead.
I don't remember it. I don't remember.
And I didn't know. Here's the thing. I didn't remember this until I didn't remember this taking place until I was waking up and going to these different sites, and I encountered Aaron's site. Actually, I didn't encounter his site. I saw him on Tom's site.
True reporting.
True reporting site. He called in, and there's a phone number there. And I thought, well, I'll just reach out to a fellow patriot. So I called the number and get a hold of Aaron, and that's how I came to be here. And it's only after Andrew was talking about the same time that Andrew was talking about how he saw Aaron's name on a publication from the future, that I remembered Aaron's name was on the plan. And I remember I put it on there. And when my buddy had picked up the document, and I'd asked him, who's the author? He said, the only reason I remember Aaron's name, because my friend said, Aaron Moriarty. And he couldn't pronounce it. Moriarty? He says, yes. That's the only reason I remember it.
Because you said it. Yeah.
Because he said it crazily.
That's awesome.
And I told that story to Aaron, and he's like, what?
What?
You know?
Now, Aaron, is there any relationship to the in your Moriarty family that goes back to the ancient inspector?
Well, that's a fiction story, and it's spelled differently. But
well, I understand it's spelled differently.
But my friend Bruce Holmes just called me today, and so Holmes and Moriarty. So yeah.
So that's, I mean, I was here, but I wasn't talking about these things until all of a sudden it dawned on me that Aaron was on the document, and I remember he got put on the document for a reason. And I'm not going to go into the reasons because I don't want to affect the timeline we're on. Because
well, he was the artist. He was the one that that helped write the book. He's already got his own. He's got his foundation down.
And this is another reason why I don't broadcast from my house or any place on Earth. I broadcast from my spaceship here, cruising around in space. Yeah.
I've been hinting about that there are
way back.
People that are in this channel, either watching or in the chat or whatever, that are very important to the timeline of humanity waking up. And I'm not talking about myself.
Oh, well, I'm blessed. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning me.
Hey, Zeta News Network, ZNN.
ZNN.
Greetings, ZNN. I like that, ZNN.
But I try to hint at things that I know that are supposed to happen based upon my memory. It's just based upon my memory. That I think I know who's supposed to do certain things, but I don't absolutely know that. So I can just hint at certain things. Like I told someone, somebody comes forward with information about the Insurrection Act of 1807, and it could be basic information, it could be the full text, something, and it's a very important seminal event in our liberation from the deep state. So anybody feels inclined to offer anything about it, please do.
I have numerous times, Max, and I can't
that's
get
been
the original text. I can't find it anywhere. They're burying it. It's gone. It's not there. I don't know where it is. I'll try looking for it.
I'm telling you from the plan that the January 6th event was the trap for the deep state.
Yeah, you know what's weird about that?
They let the media declare the insurrection.
I
agree with you 100%.
And if you look, I'll play it on. Let's see, maybe I can get it to do it. I have another phone here. I might be.
Well, I mean, while you're looking. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
You can hear this.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get this.
I was going to go to DC on January 6th last year. I was going to go, but I had a bad feeling.
What is the Insurrection Act of 1807? Okay, my phone doesn't seem to be working. Try it again. Okay, Google. Why did it stop? Okay, Google. What is the Insurrection Act of 1807?
According to Wikipedia, the Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy U.S. military and federalized National Guard troops within the United States in particular circumstances, such as to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or rebellion.
Okay, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's about all I got too. That's about all I could find too. There's not a lot more than that.
The key is this is by letting Trump knew, because he had the plan, he knew by bringing the patriots there that something would happen. It's probably mostly Antifa, although I'm sure a few patriots got overzealous and walked into the Capitol building and were participants. But he knew this was going to happen, and he knew the media, just like they declared a winner of an election, right? They knew they're going to declare an insurrection. And the law does not require the president to declare it. And the president at the time, of course, was still Donald J. Trump. And what it did is allow him to take over and continue to run the government of the United States of America. And what we're seeing is a fake presidency, belligerent, called the belligerent occupation under the Geneva Convention rules. and it requires all signatories of the Geneva Convention to work together to fight this belligerent occupation wherever it exists in the world. And they're all required to do that.
Well, that was the beauty of January 6th. And you're right, it was a trap.
That's the nature of the trap and what we're experiencing. And so you can sit back and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
I almost went to that, but I had this overwhelming feeling that something bad was going to happen. I didn't know what, but I did have the feeling that bombs were involved, and there were 2 pipe bombs.
Right, that were staged and set. That I don't even think they were real. You know, but the beauty of the trap that was set is once the mainstream media declared it an insurrection, President Trump, you know, told the crowd to withdraw, stand down peacefully, go home, which is required by law for the Insurrection Act of 1807 to take place. So, you know, not only, which is why he was able to enact it the following day. And like you said, since then, it's all, you know, it's all done.
Now look at the pieces that fit that, right? Normally there is one other time in history that it did not happen, but in general, the military will provide an escort to the quote president-elect to the inauguration. Biden didn't get one. He had to take a commercial flight.
Yep.
Okay, that's the first one. Then you look at Trump's inauguration and compare every little aspect of the inauguration or any other previous inauguration to the inauguration of Biden.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that the people that are at the inauguration are all wearing purple. Well, purple is the color of the Luciferians. Okay, you see the guy standing to Biden's left looks like a general, and he's got a lapel pin, which is a red star of China.
Right.
CCP.
Right.
You look at the other military officers in the room, when they pan the room, you'll see none of them have military designations on them.
Right. Right.
You see in other inaugurations, all other inaugurations, in fact, the president first is inaugurated, then the vice president. It was the opposite.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah.
And they're they put their hand on what was obvious a Bible in the past, and what Biden's put his hand on it looks like something out of the Necronomicon or something.
It was his coloring book. That was it.
Upside down coloring book. Yeah, but there was, you know, the inauguration video that they put out was I think it was a combination of green screen and pre-recorded. Because on one angle of the video that they showed, you have, you know, a set of people, and then the camera angle changes and those people are no longer there. And other people have been inserted. So there was a lot. And then of course you have, you know, no Marine saluting. He didn't receive a 21 gun salute. They only got a 13 gun salute, which dictates a foreign dignitary and not an elected official. You've got the Hollywood set that he's pretending to be at the White House constantly with different green screen backgrounds, which is becoming more and more obvious these days. I mean, Fox News is even talking about it.
Summer White House where President Trump resides.
Mm-hmm. The Winter White House.
You have the fact that he didn't transfer the military football to Biden.
The football, the nuclear.
And you still have, to this day, they don't declare any plane that he's on as Air Force One. Yet anytime President Trump gets on a plane and you watch the map of all the planes on the in the air, if Trump's on the plane, it's designated Air Force One. When
the inauguration was done, supposed inauguration, the military officials who lined the path were all had their backs turned to Biden, which is court-martialable offense to the real president.
Mm-hmm.
But they,
Absolutely.
you know, so we're just throwing out these details for people to go look them up, go see for yourself, you know, what's going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got a
there's so
picture.
many things that
Ahead.
the executive orders have to appear in what is the Federal Register. As far as I know, they don't go in effect until 30 days after they appear in the Federal Register. As far as I know, they never ever appeared in the Federal Register.
Well, even in the museum of, I guess it's the White House Museum, Biden's picture is not up there as the 46th president of the United States. In fact, none of his executive orders have reached you know what? I haven't looked at the White House online version, but I've heard reports that none of his executive orders have been documented in the actual White House, where all President Trump's executive orders are. Then, you know, supposedly Joe Biden's is there, and they're saying it's not.
Which means
That's
President Trump's executive orders are still in force.
Absolutely.
And that's why I tell people, go look in 2018. Well, look at all of them, but look especially in 2018, where Trump puts on an executive order saying what would happen to any individual, entity, corporation, or that aids and abets a foreign power's interference in election. It spells out what will happen. Everybody ought to go look that one up. If you can find it, please read it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it tells us what's going to happen to these corporations that have aided and abetted this, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
this insurrection. It tells exactly what's going to happen to them.
I have
It tells what happens to the individuals.
Mhm.
You know,
I got a picture of Joe up here right now. It's maybe we could make this his official White House picture. It's him in like a Superman outfit, and it says "Stupid Man Joe, faster than a speeding sloth, dumber than a box of rocks, able to trip upstairs 3 times in a single flight." There you go, Joe. Stupid Man Joe.
Yeah.
so
I do want to give a shout out to a patriot who Abby just mentioned and reminded me. Kirsten W. Passed away a few days ago.
Oh yeah, that's so sad.
Say our prayers for her. And for those who think she wasn't a patriot, you're mistaken. Yes, she was an actress. There are many actors and actresses that are patriots, that are on the side of humanity. Not all actors and actresses are deep state, folks.
and there will be more that wake up. Just remember that it's not set in stone yet. You know, well, just like we woke up.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that we have to be understanding. It's not done yet. More people are continuing to wake. We have to have that happen. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
the more that awaken, the less and less the options are for them. They're already trapped, but they still can cause more and more problems. You know.
Yeah, tag her in
Yeah.
the corner.
Well, my comment was it's not all actors and actresses are at Tom Hanks's level, and you know, the Tom Hanks corruption or the what's her name on The View? Anyway, yeah, Whoopi.
Yeah.
They're not all at that level. There are a lot of wonderful patriot actors and actresses out there that are not deeply involved in the deep state or CIA. And anyone that talks bad about Kirsten is messed up right now. I'm sorry. She was wonderful. I didn't get to meet her personally, and but I did get to have a conversation with her. Like I'm having a conversation with you wonderful folks. And I mean, you know, you see her heart every day when she gets on her YouTube. And I got to watch one of her last couple ones, and I couldn't understand why she was getting sick, but something to do with a bad bacterial infection that I think she made the wrong health choice of fasting during that time. Yeah, so, but it was unfortunate. We loved her. She was great patriot, and she brought a lot of really good news to our family. So it's sad to see her go. I believe Monday. What's his name? Sorry, Max. Give me a minute while I go ahead, Max. While I'm trying to remember.
What was the name of this person again?
Kirsten W.
Kirsten W.
Okay.
Unfiltered or uncensored or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just need to go to my channel real
I really
quick.
don't know her, so.
Yeah, I didn't know her till I saw her. She was in the hospital. Pictures of her. She refused remdesivir, but they gave her oxygen, had her on oxygen, and then she passed.
Remember, it's just her corporeal form. She's still here.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Kirsten Weldon was her last name. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Gene Decode is inviting everybody to a Zoom tribute on Monday, January 10th at noon, and Mud Rabbit. If you go to my Telegram channel, I have a link to it if you want to post that, if you're interested in posting that. But I'll definitely be there, and it's already got the phone number and the Zoom meeting ID and everything, and the link for it.
Kelly George is in.
I'll pin it. I think I already. It's on my pinned messages.
Okay. All right, fellas. Guess what? We're approaching 1 o'clock over here, so I think we should probably put a cap on this one. This is a great show. Thanks for calling in, Carl. Great conversation and great information. And thank you, Max, for calling in.
Aaron, could you give Max my? Actually, I'd love for Max to email me. I'd love to have a private conversation with him. If you could set that up, Aaron, I think that'd be.
Well, send an email over to Aaron. We'll see.
Yeah, send it to Hot Games and Puzzles
right now, but I'll take it, and maybe when I have a little more time, I can do so.
Okay, it's Hot Games and Puzzles.
I'm definitely not saying no.
Hot Games.
Get to Aaron's email.
Hot Games and Puzzles LLC at gmail.com.
Hot Games and Puzzles
LLC.
LL at
gmail.com.
Go ahead and put your phone number on me. Who knows? I may call you.
Alrighty, I will.
So, well, unless you don't want to share that, that's fine too. So.
What? My phone number or Carl's phone number?
No, Carl.
Oh, Carl's.
I'll email you my phone number. Don't worry, brother.
He'll email it. Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, thanks again, Carl. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Hey, I apologize for being so pushy in the past. And like I said, plant the seed, brother. We'll see what happens, and hopefully I'll find a way to enlighten everybody on,
Well, do you have Carl? Do you have your own website or channel or?
Right now I'm a guest on Opinion Perspective, which I do a weekly show on Tuesday night, but I haven't set anything up myself. All I do is spread the message on Instagram and make my appearances when and where I can, whether it's Aaron shows, Red Pill shows, or whatnot.
It seems like if you had your own channel, you could go into greater detail. And people that are interested could tune into it, and more people will become aware of it. Of course, more people could contribute, and you could achieve the same goals without getting in people's faces.
I think you'd be great at that. You'd be great at your own show.
Oh, we may have to set that up. You know, but if I make my own show, then I can't appear on everybody else's show.
Well, sometimes
I know what the things you're talking about, and I've just not talked about them here because I know it's a difficult subject to really get into in any depth. So I haven't done that. Aaron knows I haven't done that. So, you know, you may even find me coming to your show if you get it.
All right. Well, that's promising. Well, you know, when I'm a little bit more set up here, you know, I did just move into this big, beautiful home and still trying to find my office space. And, you know, right now I like the living room because, hey, you guys get to see what's behind me. But when I look out past my camera, all I get to see is the outdoors and my deck, and it's beautiful. So, but
nice.
You know, setting up an office space is my first step before I considered doing this. But I probably will have some sort of show. You know, I'm just kind of waiting for the Truth platform to pop out, to be honest, because YouTube, you know, we don't get the volume of subscribers or attention that you're supposed to get. I know, Aaron, you put on an amazing show. You should have, you know, tens of thousands of people viewing every night. You know, and you know, numbers aren't. I don't think they reflect reality very much. So,
well, thanks. Yeah,
let's just say I know there are people that watch this channel that are part of the worldwide movement in a very significant way. That's all I can say about that.
Wow.
This channel is more important than people realize.
Wow.
So anyway, that's all I'm gonna say.
Awesome. Thanks again, Carl and Max. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you next
time. Good night.
Time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming along. Remember, we're Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. Yes, that's the Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty. Join us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that will be fun. Until then, peace